Right, we're going to be back with a quick look at this. This video is not actually about this, but this is how far we have got on this project. So there are two little matrices in there now, and everything's kind of wired up in a very big mess. It's what you get when you don't plan ahead. I'm hoping once it's on a whatever these things are called, once it's on this thing here, I can hide the half the chips, well, the 595 chips can go underneath. I'm hoping once I've raised these up on some little headers when they arrive, because I can't find the ones that I had, so I've ordered some more and they'll hopefully turn up soon. But the idea is they'll go underneath this, and then there won't be such a mess of wires, because there's how many ICs? I think there's 5 today. So there's 2 7 4 HC595s, there's 1 4017, and there's 2 ULN 2803s, even though this one's only used for 2 bits. Didn't have to use the resistor array after all. And so I haven't actually put current limiting on the 7 4 HE595s, except for here. That doesn't even make any difference, but I will put the these things on, because I feel like I'm perhaps stressing these ICs out. But it seems to work fine anyhow at the moment. But they do have different sorts of colouring, so this one's a bit dimmer than that one, and I'm not too sure if what's going on with that. Hopefully we can suss that one out. It might just be differences in manufacturing, or maybe I'm just not doing this very well, but it does work. It has 3 colours. This little thing here, you can't really see what it's doing, but it's actually just moving around some sprites. So they're smiley face sprites, and you can it only has single colour sprites, but you can draw them in whatever colour you want. They're not really sprites, they're the drawing object things, but you can draw an image wherever you want. And so we're going to go through the code for doing that at some point, and the code that's actually driving the display. So this display is all going at the same time as it's shifting things around, and it really is alternating between green and red. There is no yellow. There's just green and red switching really, really fast, which I think is kind of neat. I just wish they were both consistent. This one here, the yellow is very, very similar to the red. So the green, I guess, here is kind of dull. So hopefully I can work something out, or just swap them over and use something different. But it looks fine. It's not gonna. It actually doesn't look that fine. It looks pretty miserable on this one. So I will try it with a different one. It's a bit hard to pull it back out and put in a new one. Hopefully, when that's what I want to get onto. I hope these things arrive, because I really want to make up the board and put these on there and have 3 of them. But it's all general enough at the moment, so I will actually start making a little simple game or 2. I was thinking maybe I should just do Tetris straight away, but I might just do a little racing car game where you have a little car at the bottom, and then the road comes along, and then there's other drivers maybe, or a little game where you shoot things. But it's just something to get it going. So it's going well, and it will come along soon. The Pong thing is going also well, but that's not what we're here for today. I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to move this away. I'm going to use this battery. So I turn the lights back on. I did a little kit set thing recently, bought out one of these, and it went very well. It works. I'm going to show you what it does. It's very obvious what it does. It makes sounds. I strangely find this fascinating and quite a pleasant thing to play with, even though one of the notes is definitely kind of out. Like that one's not very. That one doesn't seem right. Maybe I put the wrong. You know what? I might have actually done that. No, is that one? That one's hard to tell. I might have put the wrong resistor in there. No, they all look kind of the same. Well, if you put your finger on the bottom and you use your finger as the resistor, you can make cool race car sounds as well. Wait. So there's basically it's just a circuit with a 555 timer on it, driving everything. So this might be fun to actually just try and do it on a breadboard at some point. It's very straightforward. I did actually blow up the 555 timer thing that came with it, because I wired this up the wrong way, and it sort of melted and made a bad smell. So that was kind of silly. So just because I haven't got anything else, well, actually I did have something else to do, but I forgot all about it. But the other thing was is that I went to the shop and a op shop, secondhand thrift store, and I picked up one of these. And this reminds me of this thing here, and this is from 1982. I actually quite surprised that there weren't a lot of videos on YouTube that I could find for this, because it feels like it's a Playskool branded thing. This is some sort of, it's ingrained in my head when I saw this in the shop, and I'm like, whoa, this is in pristine condition. Didn't come with a box or anything. It does have the battery cover. I don't want to put it back on because it's got a strange sort of way of taking it out, and I feel like I'm going to damage it the more times I take it out and put the battery in. But it did actually come. The red thing is, it came with like one of these batteries. I don't know how common these are overseas, but these were very common when I was growing up. This is the style of Eveready battery when I was growing up. It's been sitting in there for years, I guess, and it is fine. It still has like 3 volts coming out of it, and it hasn't corroded or anything. So it's quite neat to have one of those from my childhood that isn't like a big corroded mess. Maybe the little red ones don't get corroded. Maybe it was just the black ones that do. And this one works. And as you might tell, it's a little bit similar to that one. So I was just wondering, well, since I've got this, and since there aren't any videos that I could find where people take these things apart, there was one video where somebody put a light dependent resistor in here and did some circuit bending stuff. And so it makes funny sound effects. I'm going to have to have a drink of water. But they didn't actually show what they did, and they didn't show taking it apart. So I thought maybe, since it's from 1982, it actually works in a very similar way to this, and just uses a 555 or something. Because it has a very sort of sharp tone. I actually thought, I must have had something else recently that makes tones that had the sort of softer. I used to have these little keyboard things. They were like, by keyboard I mean it's like a little tiny thing we use your thumbs, and that had a sort of soft dying off tone. It didn't quite have the sort of harsh tone that this one does and this one does. So this one has a kind of like a more of a, I don't know what that sort of tone, that sort of what you would call that, but I guess it's coming from the plastic. Or if you turn it upside down. They're very, very similar. Like you can imagine if that was behind the plastic, it would be a very similar thing. So this one sounds more consistent. But let's just take it apart and see, because I'm pretty sure that annoying sound effect is not going to come across on the video as the most pleasant thing to be listening to. So we'll take it apart. I think we probably have to take the battery out again. It's all very, very sensible. Like this one's almost not being used, I would think. Like I can't imagine this was actually given to a child under the age of 5, because it would have got ruined. Actually, a child under the age of, well, I don't know. Most of the children that I know could ruin this pretty easily. So that's a bit of an odd thing. So it's just been sitting there, and someone just donated it to a second-hand store, and I went and got it at a good price. It was $2, so I was happy with that. I just feel like I don't know how I even know about this, because it's slightly too young. I mean, I would have been about, to give my age away, sometime over the age of 4. And so I wouldn't have really, I don't think this was really the kind of thing that, and in a country also where this might not have arrived, you know, back in the 80s, you didn't just get electronic things the same year as everybody else when you live in New Zealand. So maybe this didn't arrive here until a bit after that. Alright, I don't want to break anything. So it doesn't seem like, I wonder if you can get the speaker out. So there's a speaker thing. I think so. It's got a little plastic cup thing holding it in place, which doesn't seem to have any glue on it. I'll turn it on its side. We can actually see it's got one little IC, but we'll is it going to come out? I think it will. it doesn't, like, I'm sure it was glued in, but the glue has mostly deteriorated, and I can probably just use PVA to replace it. So I don't really want to break anything. So, whoop, the screw fell out. Well, that's okay. These are pretty obvious screws. They're not going to get confused with the other screws on this table. So there's the little speaker and its little plastic. It's literally, it's like the same plastic you get like on the top of a coffee cup. And it is, well, it's basically it's a 4069. So that's the inverter that we haven't used. So that's quite interesting. So it's doing an inverter circuit, not what I was expecting. So there's quite a few little resistors. I guess we have to take this out to see what the actual circuit looks like. I don't know how well I can do that. Well, we can take this off. That's neat. It just pops over there. Well, then what would you expect it to do? It's just going to pop off. So we can actually leave that sitting there. That's like a good sort of advert. It is. Today's video is brought to you by Electronic Musical Phone. And the funny thing, of course, if you were watching this from today and you didn't grow up in the 80s, you might actually think this is imitating a cell phone when it's really imitating, I guess at best, well, it's a bit of a weird looking phone. Like, I don't know what kind of phone it is imitating. I guess like a wireless phone, like, I don't know, like a normal house phone that doesn't have wires, because, well, I don't know, I didn't have that. I had a wired phone. None of the phones I had looked like this. And I'm pretty sure cell phones were not common enough, if they even existed. I'm sure they had car phones maybe in '82, or when they were just starting to have car phones. Because I certainly didn't use a cell phone to like the early '90s. So, and that was huge in comparison to this. It was comically large. And I didn't own a cell phone until the end of the '90s. Which I still have, and it may still work, but the aerial's stuffed. Because in New Zealand we still have 2G GSM type stuffy, and so it should still work. Which is good, because all the little cheap cell phone things you buy for your microcontroller projects all seem to still be, oh come on, this one's a bit hard to get out. Still seem to be for 2G without having to spend too much money. Oh, this one's going to be a problem. Do I have a better tool for taking this out? I don't think. This might help. Yeah. Wow, I didn't actually expect that to help, but it did. Okay. This is being more difficult than I thought. Come on, out you get. Alright, there we go, we did it. We got it out, and this is what, unsurprisingly, it looks like on this side. So there's nothing actually surprising here. So this little one goes to here, and that one goes to there. What's on the other side? And then this one goes to here, and then that one goes to there. And then what do these connect to? They all connect to there. There. It's a very strange looking arrangement. I feel like though I can't do it here. Well, this is the kind of thing that I should reverse engineer. It's got very looking, almost hand-drawn traces there. Very revision 13. Go through, work out which button goes to where, work out what the resistor values are, and then just build the exact circuit and see if you can make it sound the same, running off 3 volts. So I don't know if you can see the IC. It's the MC 14069UB. So, and that was made in 82. So the 19th week of 82. So they were pretty quick to get that into here. And there's only two little capacitors. So very interesting, and it's definitely like if you're taking this apart, you'd be like, well, there's a complete rainbow of resistors here. Like they're all over the show, aren't they? They're a very wide variety. I don't think I have all of these resistors. So it might be a bit hard to do that. So all that's doing is it's just pressing down with this metal film thing. I guess we can, it's not, I kept thinking it was 3 volts, it's 9 volts, isn't it? It keeps looking like it runs on, I don't know which way around the battery goes. It doesn't have anything to protect the, that's something I was wondering about actually. It's like, would it actually have a diode anywhere? There's a little bit of corrosion there. A diode to protect, because it would be it must be under there. Is there a diode under there? No, there's not. There's nothing to protect you plugging it in the wrong way, against you plugging it in the wrong way. And it's incredibly easy to do that, right? Like, you know, you can just flip them around like this, and you'd think that would be bad. Like if I can blow up a 555, you would think you could blow up a CMOS chip just as easily. So that's a bit surprising. I wonder, like, a simple modification might be to insert that exact component. Like, wonder if there is an easy way. There's a hole there. What's that hole for? There's a hole in the trace. So what is that? What is the function of that hole? I can't actually see where it comes out. It doesn't seem to go all the way. Oh, okay. So that resistor is apparently added in afterwards because they've drilled through the trace. There's a hole in the trace, and then that resistor goes over the top. So a very logical place to put in a diode would be to take that, cut that one out, and then sort of link it across to there, or replace that resistor with another one, but one that's tied in with a diode. That would be kind of a fun thing. So after I reverse engineered this, as for fun, we might just modify it in the simplest way possible to make it better off plugging in the battery the wrong way around. If I was to put it this way, so it went in like that, right? I think it went like that. Then I'm a bit nervous about doing that because that's the that's actually quite funny. I guess it's because you're not making a proper contact with your fingers, and you've got quite nah. It's definitely good for your, you know, your race car impersonating things. So I guess, so what happened is that the video on the internet that I did see with the circuit bending thing, where would they insert their LDR or solder it in? Well, I'm going to work out the circuit first and then make a guess at it. It's probably not that many spaces. It doesn't actually look like they've used all of the pins of... I guess they have. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Let's just do the hard part of me putting this back together. What's the easiest way of doing this? Should this have gone back in? I don't think I have to glue it back in. I think it will stay in place for now. And I'm sure I'm going to have to take it apart again. So anyway, if you haven't guessed why it makes that funny sound when you put your fingers on it, because you're not making a proper contact. That's what the metal things are for. So that's very strange. They're very close. You just have to push down on them. And then it works. I'm surprised this works. But hey, it does. And it works well. So it doesn't use the same thing as the other one that I just had. So how does this fit back on? I think I've got this upside down. What a silly day. No, it's meant to be this way. This is the thing it's attaching to. No wonder I couldn't work it out. I think maybe it's easier to do it the other way around. It's not that hard. The wire's got a bit of length. Alright. It's hard to do this and show it on the camera. It's like, so this is what I'm doing. I thought I broke it for a second. I literally jumped out of my seat then. So it is better to put this on first. Alright, or maybe I should have just left it and not put it back together. That was probably the smart thing to do, since I was going to go through and look at the circuit. Okay, well I'm going to put it back together, because how hard can this be to take it apart again? We have to put this, and it won't be a complete video if I didn't actually put it back together. So that one goes there. This can just sort of plonk into there. So it's good that I'm not going to glue it back together. I really don't think it requires a lot of glue. See what I mean? So you could really, really easily plug this in the wrong way. Like, it's so easy to do that. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to have to replace that IC, just to see if it actually does break, because that would be sad. Because I don't know, I have sort of I have this strange fondness for this now. It's like, wow, it works and it's in lovely condition. Because this is like, you know, how many years? It's a lot of years. Like 30 something years. Can't do maths right now off the top of my head. 37 years. And so that's a long number of years. This is the same number of years as my car, because my car was built that I currently drive in 1982 in September, which I wouldn't be surprised if it was approximately the time that this thing was constructed. So they have a lot in common with my car. This is in much better condition than my car is, which no longer is roadworthy. Well, it does kind of work technically, but I won't be driving it on the road anytime soon. Alright, I just keep it for sentimental reasons. I'm not a car driver. Alright, I'm not going to put the thing on. There you go. But I do have that. So that was today's stuff. So music all around. So what's better, the 555 or the 4069? Can we get by with the 4049? That's the big question. So we're going to do inverter stuff. So this is a good thing. So we're going to go back. So I haven't done any 4049 stuff for ages. And you know, it started off being like the big IC. And look, you can make a musical keyboard thing for kids out of an inverter at least. So we'll try it with whatever we have available at a later point. So this is something to come back to. So thanks for watching. We will be going back to making other things soon. And we're going to have some more vintage ICs, because I've got some pretty cool vintage ICs to play around with. What have I got here? What are these ones? I don't know what these ones are. Hey, wait a minute. These are Sim4 HC08s. Those are inverters, aren't they? Or are they the OR gates? I can't remember. Maybe we can make something out of one of these. We just use some random inverter that's not a 4049. But no, I seriously do. I just don't know where I put it. Oh no, it's really, really cool. Why did I lose the really, really cool thing? Sorry, I'm just looking around my room. But that's a shame. No. Well, that's okay. You don't have to know for now. You can wait until the time. Anyway, yes, that really ruins the moment, because it is cool. It's way, way cool, and I'm really surprised I got it. So, thanks for watching, and bye. It's like a terrible ending. Bye.